mission, and that is to cram as much reading as I can into 24 or 48 hours. Off, and I decided I want to spend as much time as possible reading. I am planning on finishing The Way We Fall today by Megan Crew. I'm 197 pages into it, so 130 pages to go. I'm 120 pages into Obsidio. I don't think I'm gonna finish this one. If I do, it will be a surprise, but it's very slow and I'm hesitant to read it. The beginning is too slow for me. I'm struggling. Then from my January TBR, I have Left the North Wind by Alexandria Warwick. This I'm expecting to be a fast read. Will I finish it by tomorrow? Probably not. Will I finish it tomorrow? Also probably not. Behind me, I also have a bookshelf with some other books that I might like to read if I manage to get through these. Let me just point out a few of them. We have What Lies Beyond the Veil by Harper L. Woods. This is the first book in a trilogy. The Unfinished, a horror book which I've wanted to read, but for some reason I keep putting off. And I recently read Trespass Against Us, which you also saw plenty of times in my videos if you watched them, and I managed to read it. And now I'm in a horror mood, which is amazing. So I might pick this up. And we have The Fake Maid by Lana Ferguson. I don't know. Recently it's been on my radar. I'm keeping an eye on it. Maybe I'll read it. Maybe I won't. We shall see. I'm keeping my options open anyway. But these are the three books that kind of grabbed my attention. I might decide differently. We will see how far I get with reading in 24 hours. First book I'm going to talk about is The Way We Fall by Megan Crew. This is a plague book, kind of like apocalyptic. Easy read, but also super fun. Our main character, Kaylin, she is writing these letters or this journal to this boy that used to be her best friend, and they had a fight. He said that her life is miserable because she's not helping it. She was also always like an introvert, didn't have any friends other than Leo, this guy. And basically they moved back to the island. It's a new school year, new her, you know. But then the disease starts ravaging this island community. And it starts with an itch, then it continues with coughing and sneezing and fever. Then it turns into you telling your secrets to everybody, being so friendly, wanting to hang out with people, and you have no filter. You say whatever's on your mind. Then the hallucinations start, and then you die. So this disease starts ravaging this island, and it's not long before they are quarantined. I find it so interesting how this book was published in 2012, and it was way before COVID, but a lot of things are so similar to how they progressed in COVID and during the pandemic, because wow, like, this author kind of foresaw how the authorities would act. And yeah, it's not long before the island is quarantined. People are told that they should stay home, and nobody is allowed in or out of the island. There is violence, there is stealing, just things like that. And I find it a little bit unrealistic how her dad is a doctor and he's in this hospital, but he also is kind of organizing everything. So it's a little bit unrealistic, but it's also a fiction book. 197 pages into it. I'm actually so pissed because I've been reading and filming the whole day and I lost all the footage. I lost all the damn footage. All right, to recap. I finished The Way We Fall, rated it 4 stars. I don't even know what I said in my previous videos and how to compose my thoughts again, because right now I'm reading another book and I just filmed my thoughts on that book. There are a couple of characters in this book where I felt like they just served no purpose, and there was one character that might serve purpose that later kind of disappeared from the book, and I wouldn't mind seeing him die just because I didn't like him that much. But I know, like, it's very predictable. He's gonna have a bigger part in the story later on. Yeah, this is the first book out of the 3 books. I will be reading more. I felt the desperation and the grief that the character felt because obviously, like, I can relate to it because of COVID. But also this disease was a little bit more frightening, especially because the friendliness and then the hallucinations, it was a lot, okay? I also felt like the format of this book, which was the journal or a letter format, was kind of restricting the storytelling because we were so bound by what the narrator told us. You couldn't really get too much action because it was just what the narrator told us was happening. So let's say, I don't know, somebody was punching another person, the narrator had to, like, the main character had to write that in her journal, word for word, you know? So it was like she had to be very descriptive and all that, and you don't usually do that when you journal, right? So I feel like the author did a good job balancing it out, making it feel like it was a journal, but also making it descriptive enough where you had the idea of what was happening. It will go on my bookshelf and remain there, and I have already added the second and the third book to my wish list. Now, to recap where I actually was. I checked in like halfway through and I was like, oh my god, this is so boring. I feel like it's just all about the revolution. This book is not going anywhere. Oh no, I actually mentioned what the book is about. Oh my god. Okay, let me just sit up a little bit. Talk about chaos, am I right? 24 hours of reading, and I have reading to do, not filming. But okay, so Illuminate is, if you don't know, a science fiction story following, the first book is following a couple, the second book is following another couple, and then the third book is following a third couple-ish. I don't know. They're not really, I don't think they're all official. But anyway, they're all on different spaceships, and all of these spaceships were attacked by this company called Baytech. They are trying to survive, basically. In the first book, there's also this AI called Aiden that kind of is killing people. And don't hold it against me, but Aiden has a soft spot in my heart. Aiden is my favorite character. I love him. I would die for him. Aiden, mwah, my sweetheart, I love you. Okay, and in the first book, you have to first get acquainted with these characters. And then in the second book, you have to get acquainted with new people. And the second book, because it's a new characters, I found it was quite a slow beginning. I didn't really like the dynamic between the first two characters. I mean, the characters in the second book, because the one girl had a boyfriend, so I didn't really vibe initially. But I oh my god, I love these characters, okay? It had a slow beginning, but it had a strong ending to the point where I praised it the star for the brilliance that was the paradox, whatever chapter, and the way they made it in the audiobook was chef's kiss. This book, however, oh my god, okay, like I was 50% into it and I was like, this is slow. It's the same things are happening all over and over and over again. It's the revolution, it's the rebellion, it's the being secretive and trying to make this person come to our side and like bomb this place, and like it's like our characters have a meeting or something, and then something happens, and then something really bad happens, they resolve it, then everything's good, and then something happens, something really bad happens, they resolve it. It's like over and over and over. An attack, they survive. An attack, they survive. An attack, they survive. It's over and over and over again, and this is so boring. I just want to get to the resolution of how Baytech is gonna be held accountable. That's all I want, and I want more Aiden. I want more Aiden in this book. That's what I'm missing. Aiden, my darling, blink if you need help. I'll come for you, okay? But yeah, oh my god, I don't know. This book currently sits at 3 stars. I cannot give it more than that, unless the resolution is good. But I don't care about this new couple. I don't care about Asha and whatever his name is. Asha is so boring to me. Hannah, she was a fighting badass. I don't want to curse. She was a fighting badass. Just like Katie, they were both witty. Ezra, very likable. Nick, he had his charm, very likable, the way he pined over Hannah. This couple, I don't like it. I don't mind that this is a resolution. The third book is kind of disappointing. I don't mind it because I still would like to keep these because the format makes it up for it. This book doesn't need to be over 600 pages long. That's all I'm saying. There should be more pictures and less chapters. 8:42 p.m. and I finished this. Thoughts? 3 stars. The ending was cute. And yeah, I don't have any other thoughts other than this is a 3-star read. I'm glad I finished it. Satisfying, whatever. Don't really want to spoil it. Now the problem is, what do I read next? Because I still want to pick up another audiobook, because over there, you don't see it, I'm doing a puzzle and I want to listen to an audiobook while I do that. I decided to pick up a book series that I have previously put down. I did read the first book, The Young Elites. I read the second book, The Rose Society. And then somewhere around the third book, well, before I started the third book, I kind of lost interest. So I decided to pick it up again, The Midnight Star. I've actually given these books to my sister, so I'm kind of just borrowing them. My sister, Anya, if you see this, I promise I'm just borrowing them. I just wanted to see. But The Midnight Star, 8% in and I'm just not vibing with it, so I'm giving these books back to my sister. I'm just not gonna force myself to read something I don't connect with. For some reason, I just don't like the characters. That's the thing, I don't like the characters. The one thing that I like is Adelina, our main character. She is so morally great and I love that. I love a good anti-hero. I love a good villain in the story as the main character, but the rest I don't like. An official DNF. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and my non-binary folk, I read a book yesterday. It was The Only One Left by Riley Sager. Here's my dilemma. I don't give books 2 stars. I give them 3 stars. I don't dislike them that much to give them 2 stars, you know? I had such high expectations. The point where I was looking at Eason's, which is a really expensive bookstore, where I wanted to buy it. Because everybody was saying, oh, this is my favorite book of the year. This was my favorite book of 2023. You really need to read it, blah, 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 blah. I didn't like where it was going because it felt predictable. I knew immediately what was gonna happen. Like 50% through, it started getting so slow. I was like, can we just get the review? Kind of, it became predictable. I don't know, maybe my last working brain cell really outdid itself here, but I don't know. I'm so conflicted. I don't give books 2 stars, but I think I will have to. I stayed up until 3:20 in the morning reading this book, well, listening to the audiobook of this book, because I wanted to find out what happens and I wanted to get as much reading done as possible. Yeah, I slept for 10 hours because that was exhausting. The book exhausted me. I got another book done. Now I'm gonna read Where the North Wind Meets the Sea. There's a river full of memory. Come, my darling, homeward bound. I am found. The North Wind, sorry. Whenever I see this book, I think of Frozen 2. Show yourself, step into your power. Let me tell you what this book is about, okay? It's a Hades and Persephone and Beauty and the Beast retelling, kind of. We have North Wind, who is an immortal I don't know if he's a god, but like basically an immortal, and he is looking for a bride, and he chooses our main character's sister, and so the main character kind of has to save her sister. I'm gonna be reading this book now and probably picking up an audiobook because I also need an audiobook for my challenge. Okay, so I did decide to read My Dead World by Jacqueline Druga, and I'm 26% into it while I do the audiobook and do the puzzle. So far I'm quite enjoying it. It's another pandemic book. For some reason, I'm obsessed with those. I'm obsessed with apocalyptic books. And it's about this girl, Nyla, and her entire family being told by her brother, who works for the CDC, that there was an outbreak of a disease and that they should go to this family cabin to wait it out. She was first warned 2 months before the outbreak actually began. So they began stockpiling and preparing for this outbreak, which was eventually gonna come. And then shit hit the fan, and they're now in this cabin, and there's this other guy who came there with his sister. His sister was infected and then trapped in the car, but he was in this cabin and they wanted to shoot him, but he begged them not to. And then he also ends up as part of their group. Unexpected, but amazing. And in this group we also have Nyla's husband, her 2 daughters, her father, and her father's, I don't know if it's girlfriend or wife or whatever, her father's partner. And we also eventually, I think, are gonna have her brother come to the cabin. And this disease, basically what it is first you have to get infected, then you have a fever and a flu-like symptoms, and then you get violent. So it's not a zombie virus, but it's like the closest you can get because people are still alive. So yeah, I'm 26% into this book, currently quite enjoying it. I don't really have any thoughts. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of my 24-hour reading vlog. I read so many books, and I have one more to add to it. I finished My Dead World by Jacqueline Druga. I rated it 4 stars. It was enjoyable. I like plague books. If you have any more apocalyptic books, please let me know. For some reason, I like it when the shit hits the fan. This book did not lack any punches to the gut to our main character. Like, it was so devastating. I loved it. I loved how it didn't make me feel entirely hopeless. I wish I could be a better reviewer, but genuinely, I just enjoyed it. Our main character is going through it, okay? When you think things cannot get worse, they get worse. Yeah, that's the end, I guess. I suppose I will see you next time I have time. I don't even know when. Also, I forgot to tell you, I'm 6 books into my reading challenge. I read 6 books this year, and it's January 8th. Now I'm going to read The Northwind.